A new organization called amandla.mobi is a public benefit organization that has been established to turn every cell phone into a democracy-building tool. The aim of the project is to provide access and mobilize communities to hold those in authority accountable. The intention is to reduce poverty, levels of violence, as well as corruption, particularly in instances where it affects women. Joining us this evening is the founder of amandla.mobi, the executive director, Koketso Moeti. Koketso, pleasure to have you with us, man.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Amandla.mobi is founded in 2014, I gather, and you've been running a few campaigns. But just briefly tell me, what is the origination of this idea?
So where I come from, my community was once facing an eviction and I had a cell phone. Suddenly with a cell phone, I could connect with people in greater numbers, access information, and just the ability to mobilize around a single issue and re-engage the same people around certain issues. Got me thinking. I also recognize that while the eviction eventually got rescinded, there were limitations for what it could do for others because, well, English literacy is one of the greatest barriers in accessing internet usage. So started toying with the idea of what does it look like to build something that centers Black people on Black people's issues, particularly women, because we keep together all kinds of movements in this country, but also to ensure that anyone affected by injustice can take action in their own language on whatever issue they care about.
So there was an eviction and you wanted to resist that eviction. So what happened? You phoned a few people or send an SMS? How did it work?
So basically it was, one, getting stuff online, getting stuff, made public, what the issues that were going on in the particular community. But also, yes, it was text messages, I remember one time when we had a protest, suddenly you could SMS people in neighboring communities to block their roads so the police couldn't reach us on this side, But also, once the eviction got rescinded, we now moved into, there was a need to upgrade the place and so on, So you were still able to keep up the energy and move it across issues. That's the idea. Suddenly you're not this one small community in the Northwest. You're suddenly connecting with so many people in numbers that actually incentivize accountability, which is where the idea for Amandla developed, the idea that you can mobilize people in numbers that are able to put public pressure.
Several campaigns have been run so far. There are how many? 40?
We've actually we've run over 100 campaigns.
Over 100 campaigns. But what happens? I mean, do you have to be a member of amandla.mobi to be part of these campaigns, or you look for people somewhere, or you use people's databases, information which you may have acquired, I don't know, legally or illegally, and then you spread the SMSs, you send them the messages. How does it work?
So basically with us, we don't buy data nor do we sell, we completely public benefit. So essentially what would happen is we're running a campaign on a specific issue. Some issues are very hyper-local, so it would only be for that specific location. But then there's national issues that we run. So what you essentially would do is you would text us or give us a missed call. When you give us a missed call, it triggers, you get a text message about the issue, and then you give your name and say you're joining. But you can also do this via WhatsApp and online. And what follows is you've joined the campaign, you support it, but sometimes there's different actions that we need. So let's say we submit a campaign to a decision maker. Sometimes the decision maker wants to ignore us. Next action would be things like, how do we directly target them? Ask people to send emails directly to the specific decision maker about why.
But it could be regarded as harassment, isn't it? That you're harassing people. You call it campaign, but it's harassment.
Well, we believe that numbers, people, we should be able to, in a country such as ours, be able to say to people that actually what you are doing is wrong. And so many of us think this is wrong and here's why. This is what we want you to do. It could be, but again, if we believe in this idea of we run power or power should be evenly distributed, listening to people is not harassment.
Okay. Now, I know that, you deal particularly with issues affecting women, is that correct? And also
women.
Black women specifically.
Yeah.
And why?
So with us, we Like I said, black women are generally disproportionately affected by most injustices in South Africa on the basis of we are the majority of the primary caregivers in most households. We earn the least income, the least likely to be employed. So normally a whole set of things that happen in a society, the burden that is placed on black women on that issue just is disproportionate.
And you invite them to join, or how do they join?
Yeah, so basically we spread the word in different ways, right? So sometimes we'd use like community media, local radio to tell people about a specific campaign. But there's also people who approach us that here's the issue in my community and we'd like to do
And you have been approached by
something.
such people before?
Yes.
Now, I've spoken about violence, I've spoken about holding people accountable in my intro. I also spoke about poverty, that those are some of the issues that inform the work that you do with your campaigns.
So we see ourselves, we are a multi-issue organization. We think that in South Africa, we're very issue-specific, right? So you would campaign to have a school built in a particular community. The school gets built, but now local government is responsible for ensuring that water runs, electricity is provided. So generally what happens, black lives are not single-issue lives, And the way the structure is set in general means that every single issue speaks to another or has an impact on another, So, that's why it's so important for us.
You mentioned something about black women, right? I want to find out from you and test this idea on you. So how do you connect black madams and black domestic workers? And I suppose they would not necessarily have an easy relationship, isn't it? I mean, the way they would relate, there would be tension there and potential conflict between the two groups. How would you handle that kind of situation where, for instance, a domestic or helper, a black woman who is employed by a black madam, is unhappy with the way she's being treated?
I think we definitely prioritize those from low socioeconomic backgrounds, and we're quite clear. I mean, we've seen it with our campaigns, and we're quite deliberate with how we select our campaigns, right? These instances where people would join in numbers. So, for example, when Cynthia Johnny in Cape Town was beat up by Tim Modise, and we had a campaign, it was joined by massive numbers. And people reacted because there was physical violence there. Our next campaign, which was more on the structural racist violence, some people went off because it's just not their thing. And we're okay with that, We see ourselves as meeting people where they are, on the issues they are, but also we hope to pull through some people to make them break through your classism or whatever the case may be. And that's where we'd see this domestic worker and madam thing, So it's either we're going to pull the madam with us to make her see that this is a problem, or she's going to step away. And for us, that's okay.
And how does it work? I mean, the mechanics, the back office mechanics of this amandla.mobi?
So back office mechanics, wonderful team we now for. We've recently launched a way to .mobi, where members of the public can also set up their own campaigns and distribute them. So essentially we believe in the use of digital technology, but creatively using what exists, off-the-shelf platforms that exist. How do you reimagine a platform that exists to connect people? So we use WhatsApp, SMSs, missed calls, and the internet as well.
So have you tried to use it? Business is business. Takes resources to have 4 people working on this thing. So how are you funded, and are you using it to make money?
No, so we completely public benefit. So there's no...
So you depend on what? On donations and so on? Or
yes,
what?
Yes.
And there are organizations that have individuals who've been making donations?
Yes. So we've had a couple of major grants from some foundations, Bertha Foundation, Making All Voices Count, but we've also had small donations from individuals, and we're working towards being predominantly member funded in 2018. So being member funded is essentially somebody who says, this is an issue I care about and I want to see this being taken further. So I will use my own resources to ensure that it goes.
Now, for the viewers who are interested in becoming members of amandla.mobi, what do they do if they want to join?
So basically you visit www.amandla.mobi
Yeah.
and you'll see the variety. You can join on the homepage, but you can also see the different campaigns that are being run. But you can also visit www.awethu.mobi where people can set up their own campaigns. And if you want to reach via WhatsApp, missed calls or SMS, the number is 074 35 Power.
And over time, since the inception of the organization, how would you rate your success?
I think we've had some major wins. Hey, our members have shown up in all the matters, in all the times that mattered. We've been able to get the documentary Minor Shutdown screened on free-to-air broadcast, the ETV. We've managed to force the Department of Higher Education to release its no-fee varsity report. The whole SABC ICASA ruling, where we're working with the SOS Coalition in Media Monitoring Africa. So there's been a variety of things that have happened. We currently have over 30,000 members. And one of the biggest setbacks that we had, so the internet is consistent, it's always there. The mobile tech space is volatile. So what works today doesn't work tomorrow, you know? So we see ourselves as we're here, meeting people where they are, but we're constantly looking forward to where people are going to. So initially when we started, Mixit was one of the platforms that we used, and then Mixit collapsed and we were unable to re-engage 13,000 of our members, which had been a disaster, but that's the nature of the space.
Well, thanks very much, Koketso, for talking to us. We appreciate. And of
Thanks
course,
for having me.
Amandla to you.
Thank you.
Okay. So you can connect with www.amandla.mobi to find out more about this public benefit organization, and they run campaigns. They've run several successful campaigns, and you might be interested to participate in their campaigns. Koketso Moeti is the executive director and has been our guest tonight. We appreciate it.